getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Welcome, race fans, to the start of another thrilling event of the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Series. Round 10 is coming to you live on slow motion broadcasting. Today we're coming to you live from the Rhine Valley near Baden-Württemberg, Germany, at the magical Hockenheim Ring Circuit, a highly historic European circuit with tremendous Formula 1 history. Built originally in 1932 as a 7.5-mile course, shaped much like a triangle, it has had many transformations, ultimately leading to a modern evolution of one of Germany's most storied racing venues. Now as a much shorter 16-corner and 2.84-mile circuit, the Hockenheim Ring has found a way of blending the legacy of its flat-out forest blasts with a technical, fan-packed stadium sector that provides a wide range of challenging corners. Drivers today will be tasked at using all of their Formula racing abilities to be successful. So, I am Kennan Miller. Alongside me is Dylan Coyle on the call, and our production is being done today by Joshua Wilkie. So Dylan, we're just getting qualifying underway, about 10 minutes remaining, and we're waiting to see the first lap times really start to hit the board. So out of this 16-turn circuit, what do you find to be the most challenging corner that the drivers will face today?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back here with you, Kennan. And if we're talking about the most difficult corner at the Hockenheim ring. I mean, it's really easy to look at corner number 1. Watch this on board right here. If you're going in pack of cars into that corner, oh my gosh, it is difficult to get through there. Just one car at a time. Add 2, maybe even 3 wide situations at the start of this race, and you might be finding yourself in a world of pain and a world of trouble. And we might even have championship-defining moments here in this race. But this is a long run, a left-hand sweeper. You just full throttle, completely pedal down to the floor before you get to this turn 6 hairpin. A really good corner to try and get a move done. You can almost try a switchback here, because once you get through here, not exactly like that corner for Lindlato, probably would have wanted that back. There's some really solid opportunities here. This right-hander into a very difficult to get perfect, but very satisfying, and makes up a lot of your lap time differences, if you can get that corner in this sector correct. Because my goodness, once you get down to this arena section, you can really make or break a lap.
Absolutely. As we're riding on board with Max and Lotto, heading through turn 11, the Mobile 1 corner, and into the famous Sachs corner, you can see the crowd is packed outside the arena to watch these Formula 4 drivers. It really makes it for such a difficult section. It's very tight. It's not a whole lot of speed to it, but you have to get the line right. As you see Max and Lotto, who is currently on top of the board and qualifying with a 1:40.048, maybe looking to best his time out of the final turn 16, and it did look like a good time. I think the one big issue we will see, Dylan, as you brought up with that turn 1, is a lot of off tracks can happen there. You can still find a way to carry speed, but you will find off tracks, and if you go a little too wide, you may be dealing with a slowdown.
Yeah, 100%. And if you deal with a slowdown at all, obviously, it depends where you are in your race. And if you get slowed down in qualifying, it's not really a slowdown. It's a lap is invalidated. It won't even count. But right now, everybody is chasing after that driver in P1, both in this qualifying session. In the championship, it's Max Lindlato, who is 0.4 of a second clear of James McDonald, currently second in this qualifying time sheet. David Borden, watching him right now in a bit of a pack of his own. He is in 4th position, about halfway through this qualifying segment of tonight's event.
Yeah, and as we are crossing that halfway point in qualifying, just at 7 minutes remaining, we do have our leader Max and Lotto at the 1:40.048, followed by James McDonald, 0.4 behind him, David Hirsch, David Borden, and Jose Navas, all rounding out your top 5, and many of those drivers are really at the top of the point standings as well. So let's take a moment and check out just how close we've really got with just 3 races remaining in this Sim Racers Group Formula 4 2026 Season 1 series. And there you have it. Max Lindlato does have a 32-point lead over Traber Burns, very much well in hand, and with the dominance he's performed in the last few weeks, it looks like the championship should certainly be hers, should certainly be his by the end of the race. And then we also have a very close competition between David Borden and Traber Burns. David Borden has had a solid last 2 races. 3 weeks ago, he really followed up with a 7th place at Rutzigen that really made it seem like it was going to be a downturn on the run. But he has turned that around the last 2 weeks and is certainly putting pressure on Traber Burns after the run last week at Snetterton. And then really looking throughout the points battle, anywhere from 16th on is quite a battle, but also Jose Navas and James McDonald tied in points. It is pretty much a dog-eat-dog fight between the next 3 races to see who comes out ahead in that battle as well. So as we look through the rest of the points there, had 28 drivers get a point so far this season, which is a really nice set of drivers to have, and we're looking forward to an absolutely beautiful race today at the Hockenheim ring.
Something to note of these championship standings is that they are factoring in the 2 drop races with 3 races to go here. So if we look at Max Lindlato, he's getting a 12 and a 14-point effort, dual efforts for him removed, while we're looking at 2 12-point efforts for Traber Burns being removed. as well as for David Borden. We're looking at a 10 and a 9-point efforts for him being removed and factored away from it. So Lynn he's definitely had the best results across the year. That's why he's first in the championship standings. And those 2 drop races, I mean, yeah, they're a healthy chunk of points, but they are still higher lows than the rest of his competitors in the field today. Obviously, things can still change, right? It is a 32-point disadvantage, but with 3 races to go, there's even a possibility of the championship being decided here today. That is absolutely on the cards. You can get a maximum of 33 points over the course of the race. It's unlikely that we're going to see 33 points being given, because you get 25 for the race win, all the way down to 1 for finishing in 15th. But the highest finisher with the lowest incident points gets 3 bonus points. And any driver with 0 incident points gets 2 bonus points. You also get 3 points for a hard charger award, which is the most places improved. Obviously, if you're qualifying P1 like we're seeing with Lynn that he's not going to have a most places improved, but he could still get the lowest incident point rating and a 0 incident point rating. So who knows? He's gotten 28 points in 2 of the last 3 races in this championship. So 28 points definitely on the table for him if he does get 28 points. And then we see a situation where Trevor Burns and David Borden lose out in big ways tonight. We might be mathematically talking about a Max Lynn championship tonight.
Yeah, absolutely right. That barring any real mistake or something that just puts Max Lynn down the field during this 20-minute race, it looks like it will more than likely be his in hand, as he's got a very good run off of the field, 4/10 faster in qualifying with just 3 minutes remaining. We haven't seen a whole lot of movement throughout this session, as we're looking at Sorvez getting a little bit of a toe headed through the parabolica and running down into turn 6, see if he may be able to improve on his time. But several drivers still sitting on pit lane. A good bit of the field is out there running as well. So we will see if anybody's able to improve and really best the time, with James McDonald right behind it, a 1:40.446. I don't know where he is on the track. I believe he is actually running through into turn 6 as well right now. But as we're seeing Sorvez, we'll see if he can maybe best a 1:42.108. And there's Rudy Samudio just ahead of him, kind of really helping give a little bit of a draft on some of these faster straightaways. And we will see if anybody can improve the time. Just over 2 minutes left in qualifying, and there it is. Sorvez goes way wide. That's going to certainly scrap that lap and have to try again. As we know, in the qualifying sessions being open, as long as they're along the start-finish line before the 15-minute timer runs out, they will get the opportunity to complete the lap. So still maybe a couple laps in the cards for a lot of the drivers out there at the moment. But I think as we're kind of getting ready and winding down qualifying and seeing a lot of the differences in the gap, we are covered by about a second between the top 5, and always good seeing Nathan Perkins having a pretty good qualifying effort there in 5th place as well. And Brian Rice also in 6th place, Dylan. It looks like we're seeing a few unfamiliar names kind of creeping their way up the leaderboard that we haven't seen so far, and that's really nice to see.
Yeah, 100%. As we continue this qualifying session in this season, I think you'll start to see more drivers that we may not have seen with fast times throughout the season really start to show up, whether it's because they're starting to get really used to this competition with the car, with the competitors, or they're just kind of process of elimination, more drivers deciding to kind of stay at home in some of the races, and some who want to continue making sure they show up to these races and getting the best possible spots. Let's take a look at a replay right here of James McDonald, I believe, and this is rounding the final corner, and way off track into the gravel. That was a really good save, but obviously time does not count there, and that's a shame.
Yeah, and we've seen several cars do it, as there we see Ken Glasser going around as well. It's going to unfortunately hurt his time. Ooh, and have a little bit trouble. That grass looked a little bit slick there, but even kind of like we've seen just in the last few minutes of qualifying, there's a lot of opportunities where you can run the car wide, and we may end up having the kind of race where we could see off tracks become an issue for some of the field, because there's just a lot of areas where you have to carry speed, because you just really can't risk giving up the momentum that you're going to start tallying up off tracks, or you're going to have to really slow down your lap times to keep it in the lines, and that's certainly going to really affect the distance and how you're handling your race. So it will be interesting to see how all of that plays out as we're just wrapping up qualifying. The checkered flag is out. We do still have about 6 cars, looks like, going around the circuit at the moment. All of them really back coming through turn 8 now, so it will be just a moment to see if anybody does best their time. We do have I believe David Hirsch coming across the straightaway right now in 4th place with a 145.12, and we will see if he is able to do any better with that as well. And as we're looking at David Borden, and there is your current provisional pole sitter, Max Lotto, looking to get another hot start today. Had quite a battle with Traber Burns and David Borden last week at Snetterton, so they are certainly giving him a lot of pressure, but at the same time he manages the points. He can certainly be looking at a championship today. And there we see David Borden rounding through turn 12, coming to finish his lap as well. So as we know, we're waiting on the time to run out and see whether anybody can maybe best their time. They do look all be coming through here just momentarily. And there we see Nathan Perkins, and there, as we look across the front straightaway, we can see the rest of the field coming across. It looks like nobody had any better time than what they had run previously, so maybe some guys trying to take advantage while they're able to be out on the track and get a few more. But no, it looks like we are hearing Nathan Perkins is on a flyer. 2 purple sectors so far as he is rounding through the final 12, 13, and 14, and we will see what time he may come up with if he can keep this thing together. Dylan, let's see what he's got.
Rounding that final corner, 2 purple sectors. Will the last sector be good enough in the green, and it will keep him in position number 5. Just not enough in that final sector to really rise above it. Best times, though, through them, and I think that's both on a personal level and through a reset of our timing screens. But nonetheless, really solid time, and currently Perkins will be in P5 to start this one.
Yeah, it did. That was a really nice, clean lap. Looked like he had a lot of comfortability in the car, and certainly had a lot of speed there that he's found by the end of that qualifying session. And that was the last car to go across and take the checkered flag. So we will start getting these cars gridded up for this 20-minute race. It's going to be action-packed, and we'll have the grid here for you right now. As we saw, our pole sitter, Max Lotto, with a 140.048. Alongside him, James McDonald in second. Row 2 will be David Borden and David Hirsch. Row 3, Nathan Perkins with a great top 5. And Jose Navas alongside him, who was able to jump up from 7th late in qualifying. And then we've got row 4, Brian Rice alongside him, Jacob Guyton, and row 6, Bob Eggert and Diego Posada. Row 8 is Jason Trantham and Michael Wynn. And we will turn the page here. I believe this is actually row 7, Sora Vase and Ryan Chia. And then we've got row 8, Tyler Hagan and Rudy Samudio, Ken Glasser, Ken Estep in row 9, Jason Cotcher and Walker Foltz in row 10, and Sign Nathan all alone in row 11. 21 cars out here for today. Dylan, this is quite a good field. What are you really expecting? I know we were talking about it before the race. How treacherous is this turn 1 going to be with such a big field?
It's going to be treacherous. If we don't have at least 2 cars that are spinning on that runoff area, I will, blend my shoes and eat them. That's how confident I am.
Yeah, it is. It's a very tight turn 1, and it's a very short run to turn 1, so cars won't be too much up to speed. But as you can see from Max Lotto's vantage point, gives a little bit of how tight it's all going to close up, trying to make that right-hand corner. And we will certainly see some wheel-to-wheel contact. And even as they make that run down into turn 2, cold tires, cold brakes, they often tend to lock up, and cars will go straight there. So it's going to be quite an action-packed race. We are glad to give it to you here on Slow Motion Broadcasting as the lights are getting ready to go on here, and we will let them on their way to see how this race turns out. Max Lotto from the pole, As we wait, I hear the revs going. Oh, it looks like maybe Nathan Perkins jumped the start just a little bit as away they go. Green flag is out. Max Lotto gets a good run. James McDonald, following up a good start last week, is able to hold inside just a little bit, but the tightness will allow Max Lotto to get a good run down into turn 2. And everybody actually gets through nice and clean so far, giving a lot of space, a little 3 wide through the back. James McDonald getting passed right away by David Borden. So Max Lotto, David Borden, James McDonald, and then Jose Navas off to a good run so far, looking into third as they're all rounding out into 3 and 6. That was quite a good start, and it's going to be a really great run going into turn 6, won't it, Dylan?
No, this is going to be a fantastic run down here. We'll talk about how I'm not going to blend my shoes in just a moment, but my goodness, this run to the hairpin, such an awesome corner to get a move done, and you could go for a swap over there, some contact there, and another car had to take evasive action in front to not go into the side pod of another driver. Nathan Perkins, confirmation, black flag. That is going to be a penalty for that jump start. 3 drivers did not make the start of this race. Only 18 qualified, and this is already turning into a fantastic show.
Yeah, Brian Rice, Diego Posada all getting by. There goes Nathan Perkins taking a pit. Jason Trantham has fallen down the board, as well as Jacob Guyton. We'll have to get back and see what happened to Jacob Guyton. It looks like possibly had a spin going through turn 7 into turn 8, as we're looking at Max Lotto with a decent 1-second lead over David Borden and James McDonald so far, all within 3 seconds of each other as they're rounding the final corner to finish the first lap. Things really started to pick up there midway through that lap. We will have to see. So far, big movers. Saurabh Vase up 4 positions into 9th, as well as Rudy Samudio up into 12th, up 4 positions. And the big loser right now is Nathan Perkins, who is into the pit lane, serving that penalty just a little too early on the gas. We saw the car pitch forward, and just unfortunate as we see him there serving that penalty right now. But as it is, Max Lotto is off to a advantageous start, and certainly looking to run away with it like he did in previous weeks, and just off to a really hot start. As we take a look at this replay, Dylan, explain to us what really kind of happened here.
Well, for one, the shoe, yeah, I'm not blending the shoe. I'm sorry. That is a jump start right there from Perkins. It's a shame. You know, sometimes you just get a little bit too excited, especially when you're in a position you aren't already or already used to being in, that high up, and you know, Perkins, man, would have been really nice to see what he could have done in this race. Just came into it 12th in the standings, obviously, from multiple races he had not been in at the start of the year. Let's take another look at a move coming out of that hairpin, turn 7, and then this turn 8 Mercedes section down the inside. Hard to make a move stick right there. You really got to try and commit early, and then there was that spin in front on the exit of that fast right-hand sweep into turn 10. Oh, look at that. That's a big mess right there on the exit of 8. Couldn't quite tell who that was.
I believe that was Jacob Guyton who really fell off the field. We've had several cars fall back. Saurabh Vase was in 9th and dropped back all the way down to 17th, getting back up to 15th, but it looks like Saurabh Vase maybe had a spin in here as we ride on board again with Jacob Guyton. Get a little contact there from the 5 of Nathan Perkins. I don't know. We'll have to see what the stewards kind of decide on that, but certainly contact was involved. That sent Jacob Guyton off to the track to the right, and he has unfortunately found himself back down in 11th place after a decent start, but still certainly plenty of time. We're just at the 4-minute mark of this race. 16 minutes left for Jacob Guyton to have a chance to recover. As we're looking on board, you can see the gap between Max Lotto, David Borden, James McDonald, and then there's Jose Navas. We talked about it with the points. James McDonald and Jose Navas all squared away right now with the points. Certainly a little bit of the drop weeks could play into effect, but it is essentially a mano-a-mano race, and there they are lined up one behind the other, and that will be interesting to see how it plays out, as David Hirsch is also looming behind and would like to see himself get onto the step of the podium as well. So we've got a lot of good racing so far. A little bit of contact, it's somewhat to be expected in some of these heavy braking zones at the Hockenheim ring. It really lends his hand to wanting to drive so hard in the corner, as we see Jose Navas looking on the outside of James McDonald and just unable to get it. It's really hard to make an outside pass there. You just really give up so much momentum on a lot of these corners, and you really find that throughout a lot of this track, Dylan, that so many corners you have to rely on the exit much more than the entry that it's very difficult to make a pass without setting it up right all on the exit.
Yeah, it is difficult to, I mean, at really any track, right, to set up that pass in the corners beforehand. But I feel like here, the corners really flow into each other, where it just naturally makes sense to set up a corner ahead of you for a pass. I feel like some tracks, you don't really get into that flow state where the corners really feed into each other. And Hockenheim-Ring, I mean, it's always been a racetrack that has served up some fun, fantastic races, whether it's on the old layout that went through the forest right there, where it was just a bunch of straightaways broken up with some chicanes, to this layout, which I think is almost, if not just as, or even a little bit better than what that layout was. I honestly, personally, I'm a fan of this layout. I think it's better than the old layout, although I do miss the old. I wish we would have both. But for these cars, these F4 cars, it's really, really easy to follow in behind somebody else and start to make a move at a corner like the hairpin, right? The hairpin leads out to this right-hand kink before you get into this slower but still dangerous left-handed corner, where you can then set up another pass with this right-hand sweep into the arena section.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're seeing Diego Posada and Brian Rice right there, all within each other. Looking behind is the 6'7" of Brian Rice, wanting to make a move, thinking better of it. Just kind of following right now between Brian Rice and Bob Eggert. Everybody kind of in a line. Still too early to get too risky with the moves, but as we know, when any race car driver puts that helmet on, sometimes the brains can go out the window, and you just kind of sometimes have to feel like you have to go for it. And it's just a matter of fighting that temptation as we see them all coming across the front stretch. We did have, during that moment, Max Lotto did give up a little bit of time to David Borden. The gap did get cut down to just under half a second, but it does look like Max Lotto has found a little more pace and gotten back up. But while I'm saying that, it's dropped back down again to 4/10. We may be looking at a pass for the lead right now from David Borden.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're seeing. Yep, Max Lotto has Borden right in the slipstream, looking down the inside at the hairpin. Not close enough to start a move, but I mean right there to try and set it up. Lotto a little bit wide on the exit there. Through mid-corner, he was pushing with a bit of understeer the whole way through. I mean, Borden's there. He is still hot on the tail.
Yes, he is 4/10 behind, and right there at this point, anywhere he can get a little extra advantage coming through will work out for him. But as you can see, Max Lotto very quick through that section of turn 9 and 10. Really carried a lot of speed and breaks away about another 2/10 gap, as we're really having to measure tenths. And James McDonald not far behind them at all. As you can see, he is looming right there in the background, looking to seize on any opportunity. If these two cars start to get racing, you can really catch up quite fast. It really will slow down the pace of the corners, and the top three are all right there as we're just over 8 minutes remaining in this race. We've got our top 5, Max Lotto, David Borden, James McDonald, David Hirsch, and Diego Posada, with Brian Rice and Bob Eggert all wanting to make some sort of challenge towards that on Diego Posada. So we will keep an eye on that as they're all rounding through the final corner now as well. All in a line a little wide there from Brian Rice, and that's where we'll have to kind of pay attention as we get later in the race. So far, it seems like the drivers have done okay, but the off-tracks can start to add up. And with the 20 incident limit, we'll see if anybody does get close. As we get into the second half of the race, we may see drivers kind of start to push a little harder, maybe try and take advantage of getting a little extra run, a little more speed that might help them on their lap time. But for right now, everybody looks to be kind of single-filed out. And we'll look at a replay from Jose Navas and see what maybe happened to him and around in turn 1, just like you talked about, Dylan. That's just so easy to see happen.
Yeah, it's so easy at that corner. There's so many ways that if you don't take that one singular line for speed, things can go wrong. But for Jose Navas, it really just came from getting that left side up on the apron, or I should say, not the apron, the curbs, and somebody has spun out from the top 10 right there. Was there some contact with Bob Eggert? Can't not tell. It's Jacob Guyton who's just going past the spinner, who was Brian Rice. So Rice had an issue, and we're going to take a look at the replay here. Eggert was in the area. Rice, and this is way back. Oh, no, it's not. It's just an easy easy little tap in the gearbox, and away he goes. So I'd be unhappy if I was Brian there.
Yeah, Brian really just kind of caught as a victim there, exiting turn 6. It was not heavy contact, but just enough to spin him around, and unfortunately has dropped him back into 9th place after being in such a good position, trying to chase down Diego Posada to get into the top 5. That's certainly a setback, but now he will look on just 1 second behind Jacob Guyton with an opportunity to still maybe recover halfway through this race. He had a lot of speed, and as you can see between Jacob Guyton and Jose Navas right in front of him, certainly a couple positions that he may be able to regain and salvage a pretty nice finishing position day. But yeah, Brian will probably talk to the stewards after that one, even though it was light contact. That certainly doesn't make anybody happy, as you can see it. But as we look on right now, Max Linlotto has taken a 1.8 second gap, put down 2 heater of a lap times. The last lap time was a 140.098 to David Borden's 140.823, so 8 tenths faster the last couple of laps for Max Linlotto, and he started to set sail again as James McDonald is now maybe making a look on David Borden.
McDonald has crawled back that disadvantage that he was starting to let grow between he and David Borden. Yeah, Linlotto was under threat for a good bit, but Borden just could not get the move done. Really turned on the afterburners there as, wow, it almost looked like Borden got that left front into the wall there that kind of appears out of nowhere heading into the Mobil 1 curve in turn 11. But yeah, this is a fun, fast-flowing arena section of the racetrack right here. And if you can get into a flow state, it's a really fun section to get right. Let's look as Jacob Guyton goes through that little banked curve in turn 12, trying to chase down Jose Navas, who, remember, just had that spin a couple laps ago.
Yeah, Jose Navas trying to hang on, but Jacob Guyton does look to have the pace at the moment as they're going down the front stretch. You can see 5 cars all on a row right there, still pretty closely tighten it together with the way the draft will work if they can all kind of hold a pace. And there you see Jacob Guyton going very wide and getting it back on track. That's always so risky. You get too far over those curbs, can really unsettle the car, just like we saw Jose Navas lose it there just a few laps ago. But I think one thing we're kind of seeing, even with David Borden and James McDonald right now, and really probably throughout the field, more than we see at a lot of other tracks, this is really heavily intensive on the tires. It's a lot of heavy braking, a lot of hard turning. It really puts some heat into the tires, and the track conditions right now look to be quite warm, and I think that's maybe getting these tires a little bit slicker as we're now into the back half of the race, looking at coming to just 7 minutes ago. James McDonald right on the rear of David Borden, got a little deep going into turn 8, not able to do much with it, but he is still right there, and you can kind of tell James McDonald's starting to make a look to try and get a pass for second as time does start to wind out very, very quickly. And there you see Jacob Guyton as well, really trying to make a push on Jose Navas as well through turn 8 and 9, just not able to quite get there. We'll see if he wants to make a move going into 7 and down in a Mercedes. It'll really just depend on how Navas gets out of this corner. He does get a little wide. And there you see Jacob Guyton going to try and cut it off. Navas has to take the defensive line. It's going to allow for a crossover, but there you see Jacob Guyton right on the rear attenuator. He's got nowhere to go. The track just really tightens up in this final stadium section, and we'll see whether he's going to make a move going into turn 1. I think he should be able to get a draft.
Yeah, this is going to be a good straightaway for a slipstream here as they head into turn 1. A little bit extra speed for Jacob Guyton right there. Oh, he's still hot on the gearbox, hot on the tails. A defensive line taken just in front by Navas. To the outside goes Guyton. He's going to try to switch back here. Way wide goes Navas. Oh, Guyton's going to have a run down this straightaway.
Yeah, Navas has certainly cost himself there, having to take the defensive line. You can see just how close Jacob Guyton is. He's going to get a really nice toe all the way through the parabolic running into turn 6. Navas is going to have to take the inside line again to try and defend as Guyton goes to the outside. We'll see if he's able to do anything with it. I don't think he will on the entry. Oh, and they touch. A little nose-to-tail contact. Both cars are still straight. No damage in this series with the Sim Racers Group Formula 4, so that looks to be a no harm, no foul. Nobody's spun out, but they're certainly starting to really pick up the heat on how they're racing, and Jacob Guyton is making sure to let Jose Navas, he is there.
Yeah, this is some awesome racing here as we inch closer and closer to officially 5 minutes to go before we are on the last lap of the race here. Guyton's there, all right? So F4 cars, they don't really have nearly as many counts of aerodynamic downforce or downforce in general that you would see from higher powered open wheel cars. It's just not that kind of series, but there is still a bit and still enough. You know, in talking with engineers in the racing world, anything you can do to get one count of downforce, if you can do it, you will do it. And these cars do have a substantial amount of counts of downforce, and that also leads to some dirty air. So while Guyton might be a faster driver right now, he really needs to put it in the nose down the inside, or at least try to get the crossover soon enough, because there's not many more opportunities to get it done.
And you see Jacob Guyton missing the apex just a little bit there going through turn 2. Really following as you see Navas pulling off a dragon move through the parabolica. Anything to try and break up this draft a little bit. It doesn't seem to have worked too much as Guyton is getting a little bit of a run. Navas is going to choose to not defend too heavily there. We'll see if Guyton's able to get inside. He isn't. He got really tight. It's going to really slow him down. Guyton's going to have to regroup and reload and try and build up another run, but I think that's really where the setup for that kind of pass is going to have to happen, Dylan. When you get a good exit out of 2, you're going to have to find a way to make a move, getting inside in turn 6 with just some sort of ungodly run that will allow you to get alongside them. As we're looking back from David Borden, James McDonald still has not let go of him as he wants to take second place with just a separation of just a couple tenths. You can see as they're going through the final turn 16, it looks like James McDonald got a pretty good exit there as well. Still a little bit off. He's not quite in that same position that Jacob Guyton has, where he's close enough to really maximize that toe. But certainly with the way these cars can run off and miss one corner, James McDonald is certainly there to strike on David Borden given the chance. We have a lot of several races starting to heat up here throughout the field as the race is just starting to wind down with under 5 minutes to go as we look at Michael Wynn.
Yeah, let's look at Trantham and Wynn, and we'll see a little bit of blinking there. And whenever that happens, you're your competitor, you always get a little bit anxious. You don't really like it. Here's a look down the inside. James McDonald, David Borden. I mean, my goodness, he is still fighting here.
Yeah. James McDonald took a little bit too late of an entry there into turn 6, cost him heavily on the exit. He's fallen back to a second now, but then almost lost about half a second to David Borden just in that one move as we see David Borden coming through turns 8, 9, and 10 and looking pretty solid so far. He's got himself back into a comfortable position as we are just under 2 minutes remaining in this race. Max Lotto has pulled out to a hefty 4.3 second lead and is looking, as you pointed out, Dylan, to pretty much secure the championship right here in these last couple minutes as long as he's able to hold on. But we'll stay in tune with this Jacob Guyton and Jose Navas race as things are really starting to heat up. Jacob Guyton is looking to make a move. Time is running out, and there he goes way over the curb running into turn 11, running into Sachs. That is quite a move there. We will see if he's able to do anything with it. You see Guyton really trying to push the accelerator to get a good exit right off the end of them as they run into the final 2 corners. Navas having to take a little bit of a wide line. Jacob Guyton just not quite able to get there. He's really almost exerting a little too much out of that Formula 4 car to keep it smooth enough to really just build that momentum and get by Jose Navas.
Man, this is fun. This is really fun. Guyton is just trying everything he can do. Oh, is there a send? There's a little bit of a send, and a lot of open space was given by Jose Navas. Oh, it still was not enough for Jacob Guyton. I think Navas saw the move coming, and Guyton just he didn't use as much of the track as he could have, but this is where the move might be done. To the outside, heading into this turn 6 hairpin. Guyton in 8th, trying to move past Navas for 7th. Navas is going to have that inside track. He's going to have the position for now, but it's going to be a drag race to turn 7. The kick, who's going to get clear by then? It looks like it It's gonna be Jacob Guyton. No, they're still side by side, neck and neck. This should be the Jacob Guyton position here, though.
Oh,
No!
and Jacob Guyton gets onto the curb and spins it around. Jacob Guyton has looped it. Jose Navas able to clearly get by, but Guyton just a little too strong on the inside. Hit one of the sausage curbs and around he went. You see he's having a little trouble getting it back straight. And now he will continue on his way, but he is falling back to 11th. And we did have contact even behind them between Brian Rice and Jason Trantham trying to settle the position as well. Let's take a look back and just see. Oh yeah, just hit that sausage curb way too hard. There's no way you're going to be able to save the car from that. And then very lucky to not hit the wall. But wow, what wheel-to-wheel racing, Dylan. That was just absolutely incredible.
My goodness, Alex Velasco in our YouTube chat, not in the race here, but says the curb giveth and the curb taketh. And the curb certainly taketh in that moment. Checkered flag is out. Remember, Max Lotto wins by a healthy margin here, and the rest of the field starting to cross the line now, and still some more positions to be figured out at the back end. Just chaos everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It really heated up there in the last 5 minutes with Max Lotto able to take a dominating performance over David Borden and James McDonald, winning by 4.7 seconds. That is an absolute masterclass by Max Lotto, and certainly expect to see him in the Sim Racers Group Formula 3 series on Wednesday nights as well, starting into next season, as he has really proven to be the cream of the crop of the field this entire season. And really in the back half, he just really took it to all the drivers and established the dominance to take the championship, as we're seeing all the cars start to finish up. There you see everybody on their cooldown lap. That is your Victor Max Lotto, followed by behind him David Borden, James McDonald, David Hirsch, Diego Posada, our top 5. And that is really good racing. A big day for David Borden and James McDonald, really stringing together several good finishes all around, as we see Max Lotto taking the shortcut to get to the front row. Everybody on the podium will get their the podium picture at the start-finish line together. But I know Max Lotto's got to be happy with this one. Hopefully we'll maybe get a chance to talk to him after the race in the cool-down room here momentarily. But wow, what an action-filled race. What did you think of that, Dylan? That is about as good as the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 racing gets.
Man, that was some good fun. That was some good fun all around, and we didn't really have too much of a battle for the lead, but thankfully we had a battle for that second place spot, and we also had some great action all throughout the rest of the field. Look at the podium. It's a good podium today, but I mean, Max Lotto, what more can you say about him? He's just running away with it now.
Yeah, just absolutely dominant performance all season long. And David Borden did try to give him a little bit of a contest early in the race, and then it seemed like Max Lotto just really turned up the pace. I think if we look at it, Max Lotto's best lap of the race, a 139.847. David Borden's was a 143.07. So almost a half a second difference just in their best lap, and really just throughout the average laps of it all is what allowed him to get that 4.5 second victory. And just a really well done job as we get that beautiful helicopter shot by our producer Joshua Wilkie on the podium. There we see, I'm sure we'll expect some donuts here. We'll see him burn it down. I'm sure they can get a new engine in that car for next week. And just quite an absolutely thrilling race as we're getting the final grid results all finished up here and put together. We did have some different things. Nathan Perkins unfortunately didn't really get a chance to recover after jumping the start, finished down 12 and 17th. But our biggest mover, Diego Posada, up 5 positions, finishing in the top 5, is a really strong run after starting in 10th. And Bob Eggert as well, up 3 in 6th place, was a very strong run. And then even down the field, let's see, Rudy Samudio, Ken Estep, both also gaining 3 positions. So quite a bit of movement, certainly a lot of greens and a lot of reds on how the field really switched up from how the race started. But all in all, just a really phenomenal race as we get our final results all together here. And as you can see, Max Lotto, your race winner and your presumed season champion, winning by 4.7 seconds over David Borden in 2nd place, and then James McDonald finishing in 3rd to round out the podium. 4th place David Hirsch, 5th place Diego Posada, 6th Bob Eggert, 7th place Jose Navas, 8th Brian Rice, who had a little bit of contact there on the final lap as well with Jason Trantham, I do believe, who also finished in 9th. And then we've got Michael Huynh, who had a really nice run, being able to finish in 10th. He was actually up 2 positions as well in a really nice top 10. Jacob Guyton in 11th. We saw his mishap running through the end and hitting the curb. And then Sora Vase finishing in 12th. Rudy Samudio in 13th. Ryan Chia 14th. Ken Estepan 15th. Ken Glasser 16th. Nathan Perkins, after jumping the start, finishing 17th. Tyler Hagan 18th. And then we had, I believe, Jason Cotcher, Walker Fultz inside. Nathan did not actually take the lights out for today's race, but did get maybe a few laps in there in practice for some testing. So that is your final finishing results of round 10 of the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Series from the Hockenheim Ring. And as much as you love these broadcasts, please give us a like, subscribe, follow. There's all sorts of racing that we have all week long, and we'll make sure to show you what we've got coming on here later in the broadcast, as we do have drivers starting to get into the interview room. And let's first bring in Jacob Guyton, coming off of the really tough move there right at the finish. Let's see how he's feeling after today's race.
Ow.
Hey, Jacob, this is Kennan Miller up here in the slow motion broadcasting booth. I know obviously not the way you wanted to see the race really end, getting a little over that curb too much, but really good wheel-to-wheel racing there with Jose Navas, and really seeing you try and set up that pass, but obviously not the way you wanted it to go. How are you kind of feeling after how all of that played out at the end?
Feeling pretty good regardless of what happened. You know, always a good time, and always a good time racing against Jose. I know that I just trust him a lot, and it's really nice having people to be able to race against that you trust and you know you can go wheel to wheel with. So yeah, it still feel good regardless of what happened.
Yeah, it was really good racing, and really just fantastic job, both of you guys, making some really good moves defensively and aggressively, and really keeping everything clean. It was really kind of a shame seeing you spin out and unfortunately having that result, but we do go to another old school Formula One track next week in Zandvoort. I don't know how much or well prepared you are there. It seemed like you did have speed on that type of course after today's kind of speed you had here at the Hockenheim Ring. What are you looking forward to next week?
Looking forward to surviving. That's usually the goal. Yeah, I've been just kind of hanging back and seeing how well I do. Just haven't had much time to practice these days, but I do know Zandvoort a bit. We've done it before, I believe, in F4 and maybe even F3, and maybe even in a GT cars. So I'm excited for it. It's if I memory serves correct, it's a pretty fun track, and hopefully I adapt well to it.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun track. It's got a lot of banking. It kind of makes it certainly a unique course to go to, and still sitting 7th in points. Nothing's really decided yet. You could make a run with Jose Navas. Obviously today wasn't the greatest gain on that, but before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give a thanks, a shout out to, a sponsor, so we can let you kind of cool off and get calmed down from today's event?
Yeah, shout out to family and a few friends that are tuning in. Shout out to SRG as a whole. We're doing our in-house endurance 6-hour endurance race at Daytona Road Course this weekend, so very, very excited for that. If you're in the Bay Area, come check us out and maybe hop in a rig for this weekend. And thank you to you guys as always. I love being able to link some of my highs and lows to family and friends and show them just how good or poorly it went, and have a good laugh and have a good time. And yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you, and best of wishes in the race this weekend. And yeah, anybody in the Bay Area, the Sim Racers Group, they've got 10 rigs there. They'll have a whole bunch of people doing that endurance race where a lot of people are racing at it, usually week to week. And yeah, best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you next week as well, Jacob Zandvoort. Thank you.
All right, see you guys next week. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And that was Jacob Guyton, our 11th place finisher. Really had one of the best matches of the race going toe-to-toe with Jose Navas. Unfortunately, didn't go his way this time, but just really excellent racing from Jacob Guyton today as well. And I believe we've got Dylan down with James McDonald right now, our third-place finisher.
James, you got a copy?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? That was an intense little battle you had there.
Yeah, it was. How long is one of these races? 15, 20 minutes? I feel like whatever it was about 98% of it, I was inhaling Borden's tailpipe fumes.
Yeah, you okay after that?
I'm a little stressed, to
You
be totally
inhaled?
honest with you.
Yeah,
It was a great
It was
race.
a fun battle to watch. Wow, we are doing a great job of talking over each other, and that is just the idea of having virtual broadcasts sometimes. James, I feel like, whenever we watch these battles and these quick sprint races, I'm always impressed by both the aggression that you guys have to launch out with right out of the gate. I want to know kind of like, how do you get your mind set up in a way for one of these races to know that right at the moment that the lights go out, you've got to be on it the entire time?
I think that the first lap is tremendously important. I think that SRG has really instilled that in us, that their mantra is that they don't want to see people just wrecking each other in the first lap. But when you practice with officials, I've told you guys before that I practice a lot with David Borden and David Hirsch, and Max Linlato's out there as well. And you really start to see where people are going to naturally want to dive in if they had absolutely no fear of dying. And that's the kind of stuff where you realize just like how important is being on the inside in turn one, or can I get away with an outside one? And during some of the official practices, I was on the outside of turn one, and it was just miserable. Like you'd lose 5 cars on the inside by the time you were able to catch up, because the second turn is also a right, and so you're on the outside of that one now too. So some of that stuff, just having a good mental game plan of how you're going to tackle the course with cold tires, with full fuel, with no grip, and having everybody else be psychotic is kind of, like something that you just have to be a little bit practiced up. Otherwise, I don't know how anybody else does it. Like it's crazy. There are people that just show up to SRG and then with an hour they learn the track and then go out and race, and it just blows my mind. Like, yeah, hats off to those people.
Yeah, it always is impressive, and we're just talking about everybody right up here in the booth. So seeing you guys compete, and whether it's a 20-minute sprint race or whether it's a multi-hour endurance race, it's always fun to watch. All right, James, going to give you the opportunity to thank who you'd like to thank and give a shout out.
Well, I'm going to give out a shout out to my son this time, Henry. Henry is he is not really super into the simulator, but I know that he likes watching the races, and he loves F1 now, which I think most people in America, after watching Drive to Survive, are kind of getting into the sport. So it's fun to see him kind of discover this as well. And so I'll give a shout out to him. You guys in the booth, I'm going to give a shout out to you. If my wife didn't want me not to stream, so like, I've streamed in the past, and she's really just trying to get me to focus on being a good race car driver. Otherwise, man, I would have a mic right next to you. I guarantee it. But for the time being, I'm just going to try to concentrate on being fast.
Man, much appreciated, and a shout out to Henry, you said, right?
You bet, Henry.
Henry, your dad's a heck of a race car driver, and I think, James, we're going to need to put a microphone with you an in-car reporter, I think. What do we think about that?
Like a GoPro. Let's just put a GoPro on my head.
Let's do it. James McDonald, congratulations on your third place finish today.
Thank you very much. This is the end of F4 for me for the season. I'm F3 from now on, so we'll see you on Wednesdays.
All right. See you tomorrow. Always fun.
Yeah.
that was a
that
fun
is great.
conversation, Kennan.
James McDonald, your third place finisher. He's not going to be here on Tuesday nights, it sounds like, for the last 2 weeks of the season, but you can catch him here on Slow Motion Broadcasting Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock for the Sim Racers Group Formula 3 series. And that's always a great series to watch, too, with really great drivers just like we have here in the Formula 4 series. So definitely pay attention to that one. And then last but not least, we've got Michael Nguyen with a great 10th place finish. Let's see how he's feeling after today's results. Hey, Michael, this is Kennan Miller here with Slow Motion Broadcasting, and a really well done job today getting the 10th place finish and up 2 positions. And I noticed, this is only your 4th race this season, so just not been able to do as much with us this go around with the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 series, but a really nice result, and really your best result, 8th place at Maunz as well. How are you feeling after today?
I'm very happy with 10th place. Haven't got much practice in, so really happy with the results.
Yeah, and you certainly showed some speed. We're watching you right now, just on your start, really getting by a couple cars off of the line there, and really nice opening race. But as we're kind of looking forward to the season, I know I don't know how limited your schedule is, but will we be able to see you at Zandvoort or any of the remaining 2 races as we're getting ready to round out this season and on into the next one?
I should be able to make the last 2 races, and we'll get some practice in too.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to getting to see you have a chance to race there. I think this may be the first time that we've been able to be blessed with you up here in the cool down room to get an interview, and nice to really hear your voice and see you. It's really been great really watching, I believe, ever since I've been broadcasting these races. You've been out there, and just watching the way you've improved has been really good, and it'll be great to see you do a couple more consecutive races as well, and just really show off that improvement too as we go to Zandvoort and into the Magny course for the final race. But before we let you head out and go relax after a really nice, well done job today, anybody you want to give a shout out to, or thanks to anybody at home before we let you go? We might have lost connection with the radio there to him. But that was Michael Nguyen really putting together a nice run today, finishing in 10th place, and really well done, up 2 positions after starting 12th, and a really nice qualifying job as well with that, putting together the full race night. But that is our 3 interviewed drivers we had that came and visited us in the cool down room. It's really always nice to have a chance to talk to the Sim Racers Group guys. They really have a really neat thing over there in the Bay Area with I believe it's the southeast side of San Jose, where you can go to the Sim Racers Group and run your own laps in their simulators. They've got 10 of them, and that's where a lot of drivers do race, some at home, but many of them are there all together in the same room racing against each other, and what builds such great camaraderie. And we do look forward to next week getting to see them all line back up at Zandvoort, that's for sure. So this is a good reminder. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We've got a ton of events coming up this week, and we'll let you see that right now. Like I said, we've got tomorrow we've got the Sim Racers Group Formula 3 Series, 10 p.m. at the Mexico City Grand Prix course. A very new track to iRacing, so nobody's really going to have but so much time on that. That should be a really, really good race throughout the field. And then we've got this weekend on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. We've got the Weekend Warriors Formula V at Alton Park, and the Weekend Warriors on Sunday at 2:45 with the Formula Ford 1600s at the Circuit de Navarra, which is a very interesting course in iRacing. It always produces some pretty good racing as well. And then we do also have on Sundays at the Liberty Bell Racing Series, racing at, I believe, maybe 5 o'clock or so, but at Tsukuba at 5:30. So make sure to check that out. You'll certainly see it listed early on the Slow Motion Broadcasting webpage as we get it all scheduled to go live. And as you can see, all the other great events that we do have coming up. It's almost every day you can find really great sim racing broadcasts right here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. So please hit that like and subscribe button. But that's all we've got for you today from the Hockenheim ring. Really well done event. Congratulations to Max Lotto, really sealing the deal on the championship and a dominating performance again here today. I'm Kennan Miller. Alongside me was Dylan Coyle, and Joshua Wilkie with just beautiful images all day long in the production. And we hope everyone has a good night. We look forward to seeing you at Zandvoort next week. Good night.